And it's time for KP's Video News. Say what? KP.
That's right, it's KP's Video News. And man, you know, I am really, truly out of it right now because for the past 2 days, I've been waking up, well, 3 days, man, 4 days, 5 days, weeks. I've been waking up to like bad news, man. And it's like it's an all-out assault, man, on you know, on black people's and on black people's lives here in the United States. And it's just like we just can't catch a break, man. We can't catch a break. So I don't know. I guess you know, people trying to force our hand to force us to do something, and I don't see any other way around it. I don't see no other way around it. Right now, this story I'm getting ready to tell you right now is about a 19-year-old Black Lives Matter activist that was found dead, and so I'm not going to even try to pretend that I can actually pronounce her name the correct way, but I'm going to try. I'm going to go real slow with it. OLUWATOYIN SALAU, activist found dead after tweeting about sexual assault. And the 19-year-old will be remembered for her passion, caring spirit, and activism. Days after being reported missing, Black Lives Matter protester OLUWATOYIN SALAU was found dead in Florida. In a statement, the Tallahassee Police Department confirmed the 19-year-old's death along with that of a 75-year-old VITORIA Sims in what appears to be a double homicide. The family of Saleu also confirmed the news, and after rumors sent TOYIN trending on Twitter Sunday night. According to the police, Saleu was found dead on Saturday night at approximately 9:15 p.m. after investigators went to a Tallahassee home to follow up on a missing persons case. An initial missing person report was filed on June 6th, just hours after Saleu tweeted in detail about a man who sexually assaulted her after disguising himself as a man of God who she thought was trying to be of help. I was molested in Tallahassee, Florida by a black man this morning at 5:30 on Ridgeview and Park Avenue, Saleu tweeted. The man offered to give me a ride to find some place to sleep and recollect my belongings from a church I refuged to a couple of days back to escape unjust living conditions. The teen activist went on to say that the man took her to his home, exposed himself to her, and began touching her without her consent. Saleu shared that it was the second time this year that she had been sexually assaulted, giving the description and address of the man who previously forced her into pleasuring him sexually. Danae Hemphill, a friend of Saleu, told the media that she last saw her friend the day before she went missing and had a feeling that we were not going to find TOYIN alive. She thought of the young activist as being a light in a dark room. Tallahassee police say the deaths are being investigated as homicides. Right now, it's not known what the relationship has been between Saleu and Sims, a volunteer. Tributes to the young woman began flooding Twitter after social media user Ashley tweeted, "I'm sorry to inform everyone about this, but TOYIN is no longer with us. She was originally working with Saleu's family to locate the teen." The 19-year-old had become a mainstay at Tallahassee protests following the death of Tony McDade, a black trans man killed by Florida police just days after the death of George Floyd. Calls for justice continue to rise in the aftermath of his death. The Tallahassee Police Department said an officer was responding to a fatal stabbing at an apartment complex when they came across McDade, who was carrying a gun. The 38-year-old was shot and killed. Activists have called for a full investigation and accountability. And this stuff, man, it just keeps on coming, man. And OLUWATOYIN SALAU will be remembered for her passion, caring spirit, and loving attitude, says her family and friends. Police say they've taken in the 49-year-old man into custody, but no confirmed charges have been filed in connection to her case. Wow, man, this is a bad situation, man. This is like the hits, man, just keep on coming. They just keep coming and just keep coming. And here's a story here. And I think this story here, a lot of people are not really truly thinking about. And it basically has to do with dealing with, let me do something. Okay, it has something to do with basically dealing with finances. So you have a lot of stuff going on, and people are going through the motions, man. They are truly going through it. Anyway, like I was saying, it's people that don't understand that, you've been watching the news and saying, okay, well, they're saying that you can, this whole thing about dealing with the coronavirus, but it's a trick. It's a trick to it, because you may be able to get tested for free, but that care that you get at the hospital for the coronavirus, well, let me tell you the story. It's a lady that survived the coronavirus. Then she got a $400,000 medical bill. Janet Mendez started receiving bills soon after returning in April to her mother's home from Mount Sinai Morningside Hospital, where she nearly died of COVID-19. First, there was one for $31,000. Unable to work and finding it difficult to walk, Ms. Mendez decided to put the bill out of her mind and focus on her recovery. The next one was impossible to ignore, an invoice of $400,885. Although it noted that the hospital would reduce the bill by $326,000 as a financial assistance benefit, that still left a tab of more than $75,000. Said, how am I going to pay up all this money? Ms. Mendez, 33, recalled, thinking. The answer came to her in about a second. I'm not going to be able to pay this. So it's like Ms. Mendez is optimistic that her insurance company will cover a large part of the cost, but only after receiving a series of harassing phone calls from the hospital about payment. A spokesman for the hospital told the Times that Mrs. Mendez erroneously received a bill that should have gone directly to her insurance company or the government. Coronavirus patients, through a series of federal aid packages, are supposed to be largely exempt from paying the bulk of their care. But mistakes are likely to occur, particularly given the number of people who have recently lost their health insurance amid an economic downturn and widespread job loss. And when they do happen, patients like Ms. Mendez will be the ones who have to sort out the complicated billing process at a time when they are still recovering from COVID-19. We're looking at a tsunami. Elizabeth Benjamin, the vice president at the Community Service Society of New York, which is trying to help Ms. Mendez get her bill reduced. The earthquake has struck, and now we're waiting for the bills to roll on in. When Ms. Mendez got over the initial shock of and examined her bill more closely, she was struck by how vague and arbitrary the charges seemed. She was billed $3,500 for inpatient charges and another $42,000 for pharmacy, but without any breakdown of what medicine she received or how much each cost. Ms. Mendez said the bill should have at least been itemized, listing each drug she was being charged for and the price. She was, after all, unconscious for most of her hospitalization. I don't know what medicines they put in me, she said. I can't say they did this or they did that. Most of the time, and most of the line items on her bill are vague. Some of the most expensive are 4 entries that simply read medical cardiac care. Each one is from $41,000 to $82,000. Part of the confusion was that Ms. Mendez had recently changed health insurers, and she had arrived at the hospital struggling to breathe and without her new insurance information. The hospital billing department concluded she was uninsured and sent her a bill directly. To be clear, neither this patient nor any Mount Sinai patient should receive a bill or be expected to directly pay for COVID-19 care. A spokesman for Mount Sinai Health System wrote in an email describing it as an isolated error. While eye-popping medical bills are nothing new, COVID-19 patients are supposed to be largely exempt. During Mrs. Mendez's hospitalization, a huge bailout of hospitals was taking shape. In New York, hospitals received more than $3 billion in federal payments last month from an early round of bailout payments. The hospital where Ms. Mendez was treated, Mount Sinai Morningside, received at least $63.7 million. The federal dollars are intended to help compensate hospitals and healthcare providers for the expense of treating COVID-19 patients like Ms. Mendez, and the money is also meant to help make up for the revenue hospitals lost as elective procedures were canceled and non-COVID patients dwindled. And wow, man, this is something that people got to think about, you know. And she said, I haven't seen anything that says ambulance on it yet. She said, wondering if she's going to be charged for the ride to the hospital. Then she remembered that she left the hospital by ambulance as well, and so she said maybe she'll be charged for both rides, the ride to the hospital and the ride back home. It's like, wow, man, this is crazy. Crazy. Almost $500,000. $500,000. Wow, I'm telling you, man, this is where we living at right now. This is the society we live in. You never know. You never know how they're gonna hit you with that, hit you for that paper. You know how it works. They're gonna hit you for that money, boy. And this is a little quick one, right quick. 40,000 cruise ship workers reportedly still trapped at sea due to the coronavirus. While some crews have been repatriated, others haven't been allowed to dock. Miami, more than 40,000 cruise ship workers are still stuck at sea because of concerns about coronavirus. At least 42,000 workers remain trapped on cruise ships without paychecks, and some are still suffering from COVID-19 3 months after the industry shut down. Cruise lines stopped sailing in mid-March after several high-profile outbreaks at sea. More than 600 people fell ill aboard Carnival Diamond Princess, and while it was quarantined off Japan, for example, 14 passengers died. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control has prohibited cruises in U.S. waters through July 24th. Some cruise ship workers have started being repatriated to their home countries. About 3,000 workers got off in Croatia early this month to catch rides and flights across Europe. Then you had some that 1,000 Indian crew members home on a charter flight from Europe to in South America, and more than 1,200 Filipino crew members were sent home last week from Greece, Dubai, and the United States. So several Caribbean countries have allowed cruise ships to dock in their ports out of concern that they would cause spikes in the number, or they haven't allowed cruise ships to dock out of spike in the numbers of virus cases. Only Barbados has allowed for crew repatriation flights from its airports. For most people, the coronavirus causes mild or moderate symptoms that clear up within weeks, but for others, especially older adults and people with existing health conditions, the virus can be severe and symptoms can be fatal. So these people are stuck, man. They're stuck on these cruise ships, and they've been stuck on these cruise ships since March. 42,000 crew members. And what? Terrible.
And it's time for KP's Video News. Say what?
KP's Video News, y'all.
KP.
Peace.